government on it.
Right. Nice.
All right,
Okay.
so we are live on YouTube.
Yeah.
I will.
The changes are all good.
Call the meeting to order when you're ready.
All right, let's call this meeting to order.
Yes, and,
Okay, noting that everyone's here but Ted. No guests. And Michelle Hirsch isn't here. Okay. Okay, any modifications to the agenda?
I don't know where we want to put that, but New York, New Jersey, harbor tributary thing. There's a comment period.
Okay, you want to do that in announcements or old business?
Are you talking about?
It could be under announcements and then we can, so we don't have to
Are you
modify.
talking about hats or
Hats.
about the watershed?
Hats,
Okay.
hats.
Okay. Review and approval of the meetings from November. I sent my edits in. Did anyone else have anything?
I will just note that the time was 4:15, not 6.
Oh,
Here on top,
Oh, okay, yeah.
because we met at a special time.
Right.
Is there any chance we could do that again, or is this a much better time for everybody? She quite liked it when we met earlier.
well, Brianna's probably gonna be at work.
No, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You might be able to work around that. I guess it's.
Earlier better.
What's the deal with the tree commission meeting so late?
We normally meet right before.
Right, so she was saying, can we start at 4:15, but isn't that when the tree commission meets? No. Usually don't
We
we
started at 5, yeah, 5.
But it also doesn't have to be the second Tuesday of the month.
Right,
That's,
so we could look into that. Yeah.
I mean, even if it were 5, that would make a difference.
Does the tree commission usually go over an hour?
No, but there was a good deal of discussion.
I see George proposes a,
Welcome, Tom.
it's good.
So are we adding to the agenda to look at the new time?
Yeah,
Because we should establish it for 2023 to
Yeah.
get it in the calendar.
okay.
Actually, meeting
It's
dates for
already on there.
2023 is on here. Yes.
All right, anything on the minutes? Or can we approve as
As amended, yeah.
amended? All right, who's got the motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Great. All right, anything on with smoke? Gas powered leaf blowers? No, there
I did, I think you guys were all copied in. I did get a response from Chief Tinty and my efforts to get hold of him since then. Not success. But I'll just keep trying. And basically, taking note of what Judy said, I suggested that I or whoever wants to go and visit him rather than inviting him to come and speak to us, because that would cost money. Which may explain hasn't been responsive. But as you saw, he said he'd be very happy to speak about it, but it's not easy or something like that. And
No.
so I think I'm very interested to find out what he has to say, because it's useless to spend a lot of time and effort on trying to get new legislation in if it's unenforceable.
Sounds good.
So I will keep on keeping on with that.
All right, any other wood smoke stuff? Or air quality? I assume we're still monitoring, right?
We are still monitoring.
Water quality subcommittee, septic code and system review. No action. And non-toxic landscape maintenance plan.
So my understanding is that that did not pass through the council, got sent back to committee
Oh,
because they said they didn't have enough information. This is just hearsay. No one has reached out to me. No one has asked me for additional information. No one has talked to me since the committee meeting, so I haven't been asked to provide additional information. I haven't been even told that it wasn't sent back, except for happenstance finding out. So I will keep you posted. I don't know what's going on.
okay, and I attended public safety and I didn't hear anything. But I didn't ask. Okay,
Did DEC just send out something? Pesticide use. I'm sorry, I've been inundated with,
I haven't seen anything, but you get different ones.
I get different ones, yeah.
Yeah,
Let me dig that up
Yeah.
if I can.
okay.
I think it was,
Go ahead.
I think it was mostly about certification for users.
Oh, there is
Not
certification of
necessarily.
applicators,
Okay.
and they have to take exams, and
Yeah,
that could be,
I think it was mostly about that.
Okay. And Brianna, please just interrupt if you have any questions or going too fast or whatever.
Okay.
Open space planning, community preservation plan, that just came out. I didn't get a chance to look at it. It came out today, right?
Did?
I spent about an hour looking at it, a coffee, a rough draft.
Yeah.
So, what did I see? I think the principal comment was the old zoning versus the new zoning. They kind of covered that, but there's a few issues with the old zoning that may not carry forward to the new zoning at all.
Okay.
Like Broadway overlay district is one, they have a whole thing about. And then the waterfront stuff, I haven't even gone through all the Kingston forward on that. There's so many special districts, overlays, flood overlays. It's become an extravaganza. So that's also mentioned in the plan, but maybe Dover Cole has totally rewritten all of that. So those two have to be compared. We'll pick that up on Thursday, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So there will be a public meeting for the community preservation plan in January. The date is tentatively January 19th at 6 p.m. And that's when the draft will be presented after the PAC provides their comments, and then those comments are incorporated.
January 19th.
And then the comments,
Our comments are due on the 21st
your comments are due.
for the PAC.
Yes.
So you're saying there has to be some kind of integration of the new,
They've done, they have tried to do that.
good,
They're trying to pick up all the moving parts while the parts are still moving,
yeah.
which is, yeah.
Okay, so that goes into Kingston Forward. So I have not read it. Has anyone else had a chance to read it?
I read parts of it and Tanya Garment called me and we went over quite a bit of it, but there's still a lot more there. to go over. And the principal thing is the waterfront. That's what's really new, the new thing. The waterfront mixed use district and the other waterfront district, whether the mapping shows you where the one ends and the other begins. I can tell from the picture, but not from the map. So far, unless there's another map someplace that I missed.
Well, I noticed that I just downloaded them and you can't download the JPEGs. I couldn't figure out how to download them. And the JPEGs are the maps.
I drag and drop them.
Okay.
Yeah, I got them with the whole document.
Are they in,
They were in pieces.
which is why I think they give them separately too, because I think they like open up like that or something, so they. Okay, but do you think it's gonna be a problem? I mean, is this the final or
Pretty much. From
some?
what I understand, if we want to make comments, you don't send them to Bartek at this point. You may send them to the county, you could send them to Suzanne. You could send them to Bartek, but I don't know if he's going to be reviewing them or making any further changes with Amy. But there is a committee period. The Common Council is presently under review. So you can send it to Andrea, or you can send it to your local council member.
And it goes in front of the county planning also?
Yes.
Ready?
I did read over it hastily. I saw that they had incorporated some things and definitions that we had requested.
Mhm.
And so there was more clarity to it. They had a lot more definitions, specifics.
Yeah, okay, good.
They're calling it the final draft.
But they don't say
That doesn't.
comments are due.
No.
All right, well. We don't have a deadline for that, but I guess it's sooner rather
Sooner
than
rather than later, if we're gonna do it, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
The other thing with that was, Climate Smart belatedly sent comments in. Melissa Asha was the lead person on that. And, I think she was basically told it was too late. I tried to make it easy for Bartek. I took just kind of she submitted the scenic document, the solar document from scenic Hudson from mapping thing.
Mhm.
And they had zoning recommendations. I just grabbed that summary, sent it to Bartek with the existing paragraph that they have on solar. Said, here, take a look at this, see what you can do as fast as you can do it, which is like, this was on December 1st.
Mhm.
I think it's like, no, nothing you can do.
So is that the main comments from Climate Smart, was kind of like the solar? Solar map.
Yeah. Well, it was from the scenic Hudson solar document.
Yeah, but I mean, there could have been other comments they made, like, I don't know, providing parking for bicycles, that kind of stuff.
No, it was strictly on renewables.
Okay. All righty, anything else on that, or shall we go on to city plan review? All right. Flatbush, Foxhall, anything? Pedestrian bike master plan?
Nothing.
Did you get any, so going on to the neurotoxic neonic pestis?
I've had no response.
No response. Okay, well, I'm sure everyone's busy just kind of recuperating from the election. Okay. Well, it seems like it's a good thing and hopefully it will get some attention in the Senate. Anything, okay, this is you again, I think. Kevin.
Pace,
Pace.
I haven't heard back.
Did you correspond with him then?
Yeah,
You
I did.
Okay.
Okay, because like, the last thing that we remember was that you were maybe gonna get some kind of write-up that I would send to the mayor to see if whatever they needed next, or what were they doing next?
Well,
They were gonna explain more what they were gonna do,
Okay,
but he didn't wanna do that until the draft 3
yeah,
of
so-
Kingston Forward came out.
okay,
so I sent it on or about till December 2nd, since I saw what Bartek did with all the, and Amy with all the waterfront overlays, because those reference the LWRP, so I mean, so I sent it to them, a link, I didn't send them a whole document.
You sent to Jessica and.
Yeah,
and to-
and asked them about, or to just clarify the next steps, if you need us to go to the mayor now,
okay.
or you can just run with this, or you want to talk to John Nolan.
Okay,
John Nolan is the lead attorney at Pace.
And he was part of Kingston, Pace University was part of the Kingston Forward team. Well, we need to go to the mayor, that's
Yeah.
unquestionable.
Right.
You know, because, so they need to do that, but that's why, like, I just feel like it would be a simple paragraph of what they're suggesting,
Yeah.
the timeframe,
That's,
and how is it gonna help us? So, all right. New business. Let's go to hats then, New York, New Jersey.
I thought we were gonna talk about that under announcements and events,
Oh, okay.
right, Gavin?
sure, that's fine. It'll be a quick.
Okay, new business, Kingston Community Energy.
So, didn't they present to the CAC?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Okay,
Yeah, so they presented at our last meeting, and then they had a Zoom, then they had another 2 presentations, right?
Yeah,
And they were I attended the one, I think it was at lunch, right? It was a lunchtime one.
yeah, there's one at noon and there's one at 6:30.
Yeah,
I think I went to the 6:30.
okay. I did the noon one, and I also ran into them at the Y at Made in Kingston, but it seemed like they really took into account all our comments, like what happened with Jewel and all the other towns and some of the other things we asked, like their qualifications and stuff like that. So I think they really appreciated that they had the test run with climate smartness. So,
is there any further action required from us at this point?
no, but they are looking for staff. They're looking for an office manager,
Yes.
and they're looking for field people. And
Oh, yeah, Simon was gonna send me the everything so I could get them in the Senate garage workspace, co-workspace. So,
yeah,
And
and
if
they,
anyone missed the webinar, it's posted at Engage Kingston.
and no, the third thing is they are looking for an advisor people to be on the advisory thing. So there's paid staff, and then there's what are they calling it? They're,
Community council.
community council. So anyone who would like to be on that, they're looking for recommendations so that, they could be.
I'll pass on the recommendation. Jack Weeks.
Okay,
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I have a neighbor. that-
He's tied up building a couple of houses
what he's done.
and down with COVID.
Yeah, I heard that, that's too bad. Yeah, they're definitely looking for the community council members.
He'd be a good person.
Okay.
I mean, because they had solar at their house. Given back to the grid and at his office
Right,
decades ago.
Do you have a current email from him, for him?
Yeah, I'll send it.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And they have a write-up about that. I don't know if that's on Engage Kingston, but they were handing them out at the,
It's not.
okay. All right, so that's moving ahead. It's very exciting. So the next thing is, Ashokan Reservoir releases. Okay, oh, that's me. Okay, so I talked about this the last time, right? Maybe not. Okay, November 18th. Okay, so,
I think you did talk about it.
Yeah.
In the announcements.
yeah. So, okay, so I'm sorry, I don't have my notes, and it's pretty complicated.
Oh, you talked about it in the EMC report.
Right, okay, so, okay, so I'm just gonna try to, so I'm hearing about this from the EMC, from the Water Quality Coordinating Committee. And then actually because I attended one meeting. And so what's happening is that so don't quote me on this. So there's a consent order for, that's been for many years about the stream, I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop right there because that's different, but I'm going to say this right now because I don't know where else to say it. Okay, I attend the Water Quality Coordinating Committee meetings, and they meet every other month, and every other month they alternate between being kind of a private group of people that work in water, like the Soil and Water Conservation District and the Health Department and the Department of the Energy and Department of Planning and those kind of places. And then the other meetings are open to the public and they usually have a speaker or something. So the announcement that was made on Monday, yesterday, was that there is, they had started the Lower Soapy Stream Management Plan. And it was part of a consent order with the DEP. And so there is, not only are they going to do the stream management plan for the Lower Soapis, but there's going to be $2 million for implementing recommendations of the stream management plan. And it's only the stream, it is not the watershed. And it doesn't include any tributaries like the Sawkill or the Platteville. But they're going to look at the condition of the creek, and there will be a website with all the information on it. And
Are they going to address it?
no, I don't know. But, part of it could be, I have no idea.
I'm just curious, I think I told you I got flooded by it twice, so. I'm very curious.
But was it because of the releases or storms?
Yeah, well, the first one was because they just
Yeah,
screwed up, basically.
yeah, and then, so I don't know, but, the solid waste, not the solid waste, the soil and water, which is also solid waste, has started. Soil and Water Conservation District staff are going to be doing some of the assessments and everything. So that's really exciting. And, okay, so then going So there's a group called the Ashokan Release Working Group, which is what it says about, releasing water from the Ashokan and not just releasing. And so, when can there be releases to prevent flooding? Well, it's to prevent flooding, but when it releases, it's sometimes turbid, it's often turbid. So that, and I attended a meeting, I think on November 18th, because in the city of Kingston, the mayor assigned it to the head of engineering, and he never goes, so the mayor said I could go, and I went to the meeting on the 18th. There was another meeting on December 12th that I didn't hear about. That's impossible. Yesterday was December 12th. The 9th, I guess. And anyway, so what's happened is, I'm just gonna say, basically, they have different reasons to release turbidity. And it has to do with making sure that there's enough water in the reservoir, but not too much, right? And but what they want to do is if there's a release, if there's a need for, if the turbidity is high, this is really, I'm sorry for explaining this poorly. Instead of deciding if the turbidity is over 20 NTU, which is just a measure, no, I can't remember what NTU stands for, so sorry, but N is something and TU is turbidity. Turbidity. Yeah. Thank you. Anyway, instead of the DP or the deep sea making a decision to release, even though the water's really turbid, they want the county to make that request. And people are upset about that because they feel that the county does not have the expertise to make that decision.
Why is it
And-
an issue with turbidity when it's not, nobody's drawing water from the lower surface?
The fish don't like it. So.
And
Fish
fish,
and the plants.
sorry, thank you, that's a good answer.
Yes.
If there's too much cloudiness, too much turbidity in suspended solids, then enough sunlight can't get in.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah.
sorry. Thank you.
Yes, and then it also sends turbidity out. Well, the other thing, yeah, it sends turbidity out into the Hudson.
Sure.
And then if it travels far enough, it could go to the intake at Fort Union, for instance, and they drop it off. But it's mostly, I speak for the plants and the fish.
Good for
type
you,
thing.
somebody has to.
So anyway, there's been a couple things, and one was that they just kind of did this, and there was like a 10-day turnaround comments, and people got that changed, so the comment period is now the 17th, and it's really it's really just non-public meetings that they're discussing this, and there's a lot of complication to it that they're trying to when they manage water and release it, they're also trying to manage disinfection byproducts, which is, there's, when they disinfect, so, let me see, like if there's turbidity, you can add alum and that makes the turbidity fall out. And they do that in some of the other reservoirs farther down the river, but then that affects the disinfection products that they use and whether or not there's Those are good for the water quality. And so they're worried about disinfection byproducts, which has something to do with organics in the water. And some reservoirs have more organics than others, and some have more sediment or turbidity than others. So anyway, it looks, the EMC has been trying to either get it, they're gonna send some kind of letter. And then also the legislature the legislature, the committee, the Environment, Energy and Sustainability Committee has also expressed concern. So, and it's interesting whether or not they actually have to, why they're doing this when the county didn't ask for it. And so it's a lot of concern because of that. And the Energy, Environment and Sustainability Committee has asked for a presentation, but that might come from within the county, like Amanda Laval, as opposed to having DEP and DEC meet and present it. So anyway, that's what we just need to follow that and keep an eye on that.
Just so I have it straight, the November 18th meeting, that was the instructor release working group.
And they also met on the 9th.
Right, and those are I recall the meetings that weren't open to the public, right?
Right.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Okay, so, so that group didn't necessarily open to the public.
but William Kimball reported on it in the frame, so
So somehow he got in.
somehow he got the information. So anyway, so we're, hopefully we don't have to do anything because the EMC but it is a concern, and it's because of the rush job, which got taken care of, there was, instead of a 10-day period, it's going all the way to the 17th of January, and hopefully there's going to be more discussion.
So the 17th, that's the working group's deadline. Or is that the
Yeah.
DEC? That's the working group's deadline.
That's the working groups. The DEC and the DEP are saying this. The DEP and the DEC are saying this is what we want. Not just the DEP, it's the DEP and the DEC
Together.
together.
That's interesting.
And it has to do with the interim release protocol, which is what they're trying to amend to have the kind of the responsibility moved to the county.
So the deadline is on the interim protocol.
It's on this part of it. No, I wouldn't say that. If you need that information, I can send you some more content.
The sentence I started is there is a comment period until December 17th.
On
regarding-
changes to the interim. release
Right, that's
protocol.
what I was gonna put up. Okay. I'll put that.
And there's a lot of other. Okay, so then also at the water quality, I just want to say that another thing is that, and I'm bringing this up because the Wallkill River flows into the Roundout and then comes through Kingston. And the Wallkill River is being managed for phosphorus under what's called the TMDL, which is total maximum daily load. And what that means is that everyone kind of, anything that is a source of phosphorus, they have to work to keep the phosphorus down to the temporary maximum daily load. So it's And so that would just affect water quality eventually. And I think phosphorus is usually coming from agriculture and settlement. And so that's happening too. I am on the water quality committee because I was on the EMC. So I'm not sure if I'm still on it or not, but I can still go to the every other meeting as well. And I sent Brianna this job offering, but I'm just gonna mention, if you know anyone, the Department of the Environment is looking for 2 part-time watershed people for 2023 to do the road stream crossings in the county, and that's where they go and evaluate culverts to see whether or not whether the road stream crossings are large enough for the water, and also whether critters can easily pass through the stream crossings, whether they're bridges, roads and stuff. And the EMC, again, is going to make comments to the county executive on the interim release. And I believe to the legislature too, but I'm not sure. No. All right, so that was more than I thought. Anyway,
That's a lot.
Those comments would be separate from the December 17th comments.
January 17th.
Oh,
The deadline for comments from the Ashoka release are on January
That was January
17th.
17th.
not December 17th, it's nothing.
Yes.
December 17th.
And
No, you.
yes, we're trying, we're trying, get something to them before the 17th of January. Yeah, as the Environmental Management Council as an advisory to the legislature and executive for the county. All right. Okay, any questions on that?
Do you want us to get together and make some comments before January 17th, or are you just meeting?
I don't feel like we need to. I feel like it's gonna come from them from, the biggest thing is we were trying to get a public meeting, and that may happen with the county, either with the EMC or with the county, the energy, environment and sustainability group. So, hopefully, but you should watch for that. Okay, next is, I think, burying overhead utility cables
I
is,
am working on drafting a letter about that to submit to Complete Streets and anybody else who's interested, but as I said, I apologize that we responded last time, so I haven't forgotten. I'm working on, there's a couple of people I want to reach out to who have been campaigning, sort of thing for a while, so I'd like to share, get some of their wording, what they think works and doesn't work.
great. CAC year-end report.
So every year we do an annual report, we submit it to the council. I'm going to draft up the report for January. This is a copy of last year's report. It's going to be the same format, with updates. And so,
Thank you.
if you wouldn't mind looking over it, and what I need particularly from you, because I'll do all of everything through page 6. But on page 6 and 7, there are 2 things I need from you all before we can finalize it. I need on page 6 for professional development, any conferences or workshops that you attended in 2022 that are relevant to the CAC. So basically, these were the things that give us clout. This is what, you didn't have to go as a CAC member, but something that you did as professional development that would add to our resume. And then on page 7, any organization or appointment that you have that is environmentally related, if any. So if something's listed, obviously all the conferences and workshops from 2021 won't be relevant anymore. I'll need the new ones, but at least for the organizational liaisons and appointees, just let me know which ones of those are still active or not, and if there's any additions.
Right, so if it's on here, you still want to know about it?
If it's on here, I need to know if it stays on here. And I will update all the rest with like all the special guests we had, the plans we reviewed, the letters of support we've done, all that other stuff. The planning board second week. And I will give you the draft at the January meeting, which would then be approved. But again, the sooner you can get me the number 6 and page 6 and 7 information, the better.
Oh, you did all of that?
Right? So it's really great, right? Sometimes we feel like we just have the same things on our agenda month after month, but you know what? When it all comes into one place. Really very impressive.
Well, what's the deadline? I was reading it. not
I
listening.
didn't give you a deadline, but I want to have a draft to you by the January meeting, so I guess it depends on when the January meeting is, which we haven't decided yet. So once we decide when our meeting schedule is, I will let you know what the deadline is. All right. Okay. For council appointments and vacancies, I did just go through, Kevin, we got your, you've been reappointed,
Yeah,
so you're all set. Helen and Anita, you expire in 23, so you're good. Brownie, you expire in 24, so you're good. Ted expires in 23, and Emily, you expire at the end of this month.
Oh, my goodness.
I think I sent you a note, but maybe you didn't get it. So, you will continue on unless somebody replaces you, but for the formality, you should really, if you would like.
More terms than.
What do I have to do?
You have to resubmit the same board application that's on the website that you would have submitted the first time. There's a link, if you go on the city's website under boards and commissions, the first thing that comes up is a link, you can fill it right in as a live PDF.
So, I need to do that while I'm in Togo or before I leave.
Frankly, you can probably find your last one and then just copy and paste it.
I know that's.
It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes.
that's kind of what I did. I did the CAC and the Clinton Smart, check them both off.
Yeah.
And Roy sent it right back. And then I came right over
Yeah.
here and saw the clerk.
So that all being said, we still have 3 vacancies. I would love to fill them because we need 5 of you to be here for quorum. So like today, if someone else didn't come besides Ted, we wouldn't have quorum. So it really only allows one person to not be here at any given time. So if anyone has ideas for vacancies, just let me know.
I contacted, I'm sorry, one of the professors at SUNY Ulster, and he told me he passed it on to the person that was more applicable. And I can follow up in person with her, or I mean, again with her. By the way, Ted Ginney and someone else is speaking right now at SUNY Ulster, Tim Ginney, yeah, tonight at Ulster, SUNY Ulster, that we're missing. So anyway, that woman is the organizer of this. I don't remember her name.
What's the talk about?
Climate reality project. Do you know Tim Ginney?
I do know.
Well, he's an actor, but lives locally and he's very involved in,
How do you spell his name?
I don't know.
GUINEE.
And he's very active in climate stuff.
All right. That's all I have for appointments and vacancies.
Oh, did you have any luck with the high school?
But we did get bring up that when I reached out to Susan. And I know that Climate Smart, a couple folks from Climate Smart have been working with high school students on a couple things, so maybe something will come of that.
Okay, meeting dates for 2023.
All right, so while we were talking here, I went through the city calendar to identify what is available for this room at the 4 or the 5 o'clock hour over the course of the month on a regular basis. I can just list what those are, and people can say yay or nay, or I can send this around as an email. I mean, I frankly prefer to rather just choose now, but I mean, if people don't want to do that now, I don't know if people have
Well,
access to
what
calendar.
about Ted? Because he's not working at Bard, so he's local.
Right. Okay, well, maybe we can at least eliminate some and then see what's left, and then I can send those over to Ted. So first of all, is 4 or 5 o'clock? What, does anyone else besides Brianna possibly have a limitation at 4 on any day?
I do, I go ice skating. I go ice skating at 3:30, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay, so,
I mean, I can,
We don't want to deprive you of that.
okay,
but
so,
other than that, I mean, I'd be willing to skip it.
Or we could do a different day as well. It doesn't have to be a Tuesday.
so, right now, what did you say? You're gonna figure it out, or you, okay. So the first Monday is available, the first Tuesday, the first Wednesday.
Of January.
This is
Of
for
everything.
the year,
I see. Okay.
at 4 or 5. The second Monday and the second Tuesday. The second Tuesday would have to be at 6, the same time, that would be the no action, no change alternative. The third Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday. 4 or 5 o'clock, and the fourth Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday.
But doesn't that conflict with Climate Smart? One of those. Or no, that's a Wednesday, right? So we're talking Tuesday.
So the problem with Mondays is we hit a lot of holidays.
Yep.
And then you shift
Right.
it anyway, so what are those holidays? There's President's Day, Martin Luther King, President's,
Labor Day.
Labor, Memorial Day, that's 4.
Okay, so you want to eliminate the Mondays?
Yeah, so Mondays really are tight.
Mondays are out. Probably why they're all available. Somebody wants to do it on Mondays. Okay, so that leaves the first Tuesday and Wednesday. The second Tuesday, which is this time right now. The third Tuesday and Thursday. And the fourth Tuesday and Thursday.
I say we stick with Tuesday.
The third Tuesday, that would put, I think that was the other thing, but that puts us, is that so like the planning board meets on Monday and then we meet this day? So we're always kind of like a whole month behind.
According to the calendar, the planning board is meeting on the third Monday.
Yeah,
Right, so if we meet after them, is that good or bad? Because it's like we're meeting exactly one day after them, and so we don't have any prep. If we need to prep
you won't
for,
know what the next agenda is yet. Now we know what their agenda is,
right,
or we can, we can sort of guess from last month if they haven't posted it. I'm sure they haven't posted yet.
so what happens, what, is there anything on, so the second month, the only thing in the second week is Monday or Tuesday?
And the only Tuesday option would be this time, 6.
And the planning board meets on Wednesday?
No, they
Third
no,
Monday.
third Monday.
Third, third what?
Monday.
Third Monday. Yeah, sorry.
So they're dealing with the holidays.
So if we met the fourth week, we'd be 3 weeks ahead of them.
Right. But they don't issue the
I don't know what they're gonna be talking about.
They're not gonna put their agenda out until the week before.
Yes.
There may be out now.
Yeah, but they should have their meeting agenda out now because it's a week ahead. Should.
They should, and
But-
sometimes they did, sometimes it comes out tomorrow morning,
Mhm.
that's been known to happen. 29 days of off.
Right. Which is what I'm worried about now, maybe it doesn't happen. But
See, if we snuck it into.
I don't know, like, how important is that? Is that really important?
Only if there's a short comment period.
Right.
I don't see it December. Up yet.
Or do you think it's a problem if we meet? The fourth Tuesday? Or
Fourth
the
Tuesday.
The third Tuesday? One day before the.
One day after.
I'm sorry, I lost.
That's one day after that.
Does the third Thursday work? The third Thursday is available at 4 or 5.
I prefer to do it earlier in the week if possible. I mean, I'll go with the flow if everybody else wants to do it.
I don't disagree. I prefer Tuesdays over Thursdays. Or Wednesdays.
Do you want to just leave it the same?
Well, no, let's run it by Ted too,
Yeah.
because if he says, no way, I can't meet at 4, then we should just stick with 6 on the second Tuesday, but if he can meet the 4th Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, I don't know. And whether we can meet during the 3rd or 4th week. Any day, whether we can meet any other day besides Monday at 4 o'clock.
Okay, so there's right now, including this time, which would be the no change option, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 time periods that we have not eliminated.
Okay.
So do you want me to circulate those to Ted?
Yep, or to all of us, so we can really look.
Circulate those to everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any recurring. We do it at any point.
Yeah, because see, if we meet earlier, I have evening things, but they're like tomorrow, on Thursday at 7, whatever that is, the third Thursday. I have a third Thursday at 7, but if we met at 4, that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it's rare that we go more than 2 hours. So basically, you need to see if you're available from 4 to 6 or 5 to 7 on the days.
And that all, has a lot to do with whether we're able to travel. So,
So then at this point, we don't currently have something on the calendar for January unless we stick with this time. So we either need to decide as soon as possible to get it on the calendar, or stick with the January date and then decide for dates after that. I'm fine either way. But if we happen to choose the first Tuesday of January, then I'll need to know by the 27th.
The first Tuesday, I have a finance committee at the Land Trust, and I think Ted is going to be on the too.
Every first Tuesday?
Right now, that's what it is, unless they change it for 2023, but that's a whole,
That's
that's a different board, different discussion.
in the evenings?
5,
Okay, so that date is at that time. Does anyone else have any other recurring things that would conflict with any of the dates that I gave, or you don't know?
they were all Tuesdays or Thursdays.
Except the first Wednesday.
First Wednesday, I think we have, well, sometimes we have this, That's another land trust thing, where they review the bylaws and, which is an ongoing thing that's been going on for years.
So that's out too.
Yeah, that would involve both me and Ted.
So we're down to 1, 2, stay here action, or 1, 2, 3, 4 other options.
We've eliminated Monday, correct?
So right now, we're only looking at,
Okay, because Monday's a board meeting for high gap nature centers.
only looking at 3rd Tuesday or Thursday, or 4th Tuesday or Thursday.
Yeah,
Or,
I don't see anything wrong there, but, Ted may have something else with.
Okay.
Let me see what he has.
Mhm.
I don't have his full schedule, I have some of what Greg and Shanique were doing, it's like extra.
Yeah.
He might be doing.
Today's the second
The-
Tuesday.
yep,
Third Tuesday, he's got a staff meeting.
okay, so that's out.
That could change,
Oh, what time's the staff meeting?
3:30.
Oh, man. Tell him to move it.
Well, he could, but he's got to talk to Shanique and Greg.
All right, well, I'm not gonna eliminate that one, because
Yeah.
we'll let him speak for himself on it.
That's a weekly meeting, as far as I can tell, 3:30 every week.
Okay.
Staff meeting.
But again, that could be one of those things where it's easier to move 3 people than it is to move 7.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna take these 6
Let's see.
dates and I'll circulate them tomorrow morning and hopefully people can get back to me soon. And I guess I would say,
Because I did speak to someone once about being on the CAC and the day was wrong for that person.
yeah,
So that could also,
so I guess I would just have you rank these. 'Cause I don't know how else I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's-
well,
that makes sense.
because the other thing is, the other thing is we don't want to eliminate people because we're meeting during the day. Either the public or
Right,
the,
but most people can make 5.
yeah, five.
That seems reasonable.
But the tree commission, I never went to because I was always working. So we need to think about that. too.
I
Okay,
mean, I know everything is available on YouTube and recorded.
I know.
All right, so I will set that up tomorrow. Just get back to me with
And
that.
do you think that's gonna be forever
What?
recorded on YouTube?
Yes. Well, forever under this administration. Nothing is forever.
Indeed.
Can't speak to the next administration.
So
Okay,
we got the 3rd or 4th Tuesday or Wednesday is what we're picking in.
No,
No, Tuesday or Thursday, I'm sorry.
yeah,
or,
Or keeping
Today.
it the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 5 dates.
so. Okay. All right, open issue discussion, do we have anything, I don't have anything for today, does anyone else? Okay, communications, that's the New York, New Jersey Harbor.
Yeah, there's an open comment period, so I believe it's January 6th, and I'm thinking we should send something into them, like, it could be a one-line thing, basically, not a big, to do. Concerning that right now, they're only reviewing downriver. Maybe, that doesn't, we need to be included at some point. If that's simple, us and the rest of the valley north of New York City.
But isn't all of this isn't it down the river?
It is, but how does it affect up here?
Yeah.
I think that's the question, or are they just ignoring what's going on? They're just gonna let us flood.
Yeah, but they're not shutting off the entire harbor, right?
The preliminary comments that they've gotten, and there were people from New Jersey that were, so why aren't you doing the big barrier? And I think Bryce, I forget his last name, the Army Corps person on the project, he said that it's enormously expensive to
Right.
do that, and it's gonna take Even these small batteries are gonna take years, the big one is gonna take a really long time.
Yeah.
And it had so many problems with it already.
No, I understand, so
So,
I just don't
That's why.
understand.
he's
For the-
pushing back on the New Jersey people that were commenting, they had a meeting
Yeah,
or something, I think,
but-
that was attended by
But
Jersey.
do you feel that if with the current proposals, that we would be affected, or they need to just consider that we could be?
They need to consider how it affects us, I think that's how I would phrase it. But what they're doing is that they have a lot of barriers, so that's gonna push the water someplace, and likely a lot of it will end up in the Hudson River if the tide changes or a surge comes, and there goes Rhonda. Yeah, to go with Yonkers, Irvington, and further north.
Wow.
Yeah. Vermont, I mean, right, it's- wouldn't want to be living on condos on here.
All right. So,
It'd be like a
so
one-
you wanna,
Yeah,
and you wanna send it in from the CAC?
yeah,
So-
I can do that. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay, any announcements, communications, announcements, events?
Oh, I'm gonna be away in, second half of February.
Okay.
You're not gonna be here. I want for a while.
I'm gonna be back on January 5th. Okay.
Just of interest, I get regular scientific stuff from various places. And the Union of Concerned Scientists is reporting that OSHA is starting a national emphasis on heat program, which is instituting safety measures and legal protections for workers exposed to extreme heat.
Ah,
That is really good.
oh, yeah, there was a survey that just came out, there was a thing on the news the other day about, effects of pregnant women working in hot contained in the field.
Actually, and they also reported on a recent global study on temperature extremes above 85
Wow.
and below 20. And the impact it has on folks with cardiac problems
Right.
and how much it increases their chance of dying. And low temperatures is even worse than high temperatures.
Really?
I don't know whether that means they're out snow shoveling or what, but
Right. Well, that's really good. Yeah, I mean, when I see people working on roofs, in the middle of the summer, it's very scary. Yeah. And, I think some areas they work at night.
So we are right about supply chain issues and the warehousing. A lot of them are not properly air conditioned. Because these are vast spaces that are extremely expensive to cool. And yet another complaint about Amazon.
Yeah.
Evil empire.
I'll tell you, we didn't go out and work killer bees late afternoon in the middle of the summer.
Yeah. All right,
Wearing 3 layers.
right, because you're so covered up.
Wow.
Well, I'll let you know when it's 85 in West
In
Africa.
Yeah, knock yourself out. Yeah. Not much ice skating in Togo.
That's for
You
sure.
never know, actually, you might have a lovely rink. Tooming. Lome, excuse me.
Good for you.
I looked it up, I cheated.
Okay, complete streets.
Nothing, they haven't met since whenever it was, September.
Did you let them know about the heat study that we've already done? Because you might just send an email to them about that.
Oh, sure, I didn't, sorry, I didn't make a note of that.
Yeah, Julie, so we had a professor actually do a study for us, and it's on the website somewhere. And I think we,
It's on the NRI website,
NRI,
that research inventory website.
and this is specific to Kingston? Okay, thank you. Do you know what the title is, just?
The website is kingston-ny.gov/NRI.
Oh, I'll find it.
It's pretty obvious in the data set.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I will definitely send it to you.
Kevin, planning board.
Okay, they tabled Kingston Meadows after a long discussion, it looked like. I think you were at one of the staff meetings
Yeah.
on that, yeah, so you might know more than I do, I'm reading from the minutes. And I believe they tabled 6585 East Strand, which was another project.
So wait, so they didn't just table it, they talked a lot? and they tabled it?
Yeah, exactly.
So that meant they didn't vote on it?
Pull up the minutes and go through.
No, I could read them.
Spend hours on, we spent hours on this thing already. Let's see, 199 early. Yeah, oh, you submitted comments. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It goes on and on and on, the park and rec fees. There was a typo on a date, it was from 2008, that somebody wrote 2018 on the engineering end. We don't know if that was intentional or not, but they're gonna correct it. They have done that before, like they've taken the rail trail, and took it off the map and then put it back on the map. Yeah, so we don't know what they did, but somebody at planning picked that up and they're gonna correct it. Not a problem there. The park and rec fee, they're gonna have to kick that around at the Park and Rec Commission. And it was referred to the Parks and Rec Commission and the Ulster County Planning Board. The planning office will work with the applicants and city agencies to address comments. The applicants will develop a plan for initial work and the restoration cost estimate.
Restoration of what?
Well, then we're getting into how they're excavating. Remember how they were doing,
Yeah.
what they're doing with the project is it's in the floodplain, so they have to, what they propose to do is to raise one area of the site up like that, which will gouge out the other area. So how are they
To
going
get
to
the soil.
now how are they going to restore that and not create a floodway out of floodplain
Yeah,
in the process?
I
Speak out
finally
the
went over
neighbors.
there the other day and looked at that area. It's
Mhm.
already underwater.
Well, there is a stream that flows, a little small stream that flows through it. Kingston Land Trust has a very small parcel where, in the vicinity of where that stream flows.
Uh-huh.
And there is some dry land there, or now. Now, in flood stage, don't count on it. But there is some dry land, but it's in the floodplain, so they have to raise it to do it. It's not definitely not an ideal site. We pointed that out repeatedly.
Yeah.
So,
I guess I should go with them, okay.
6585, that's across the street from Maritime Center.
Yeah,
And the applicants requested to postpone their presentation and the matter will be placed on the December agenda, which which is not out yet, but we know that should be there. We'll have to look for that. And then there was a third project that we spent a tremendous amount of time on. And Dan Simone is involved in this. He used to be at ABR Realty, and he's working with somebody. They did this. They had the site where the Sojourner Truth Park is, and he worked on the development team. It was never developed, but he was the engineer on that project. And he's now the engineer on a different project at 104 Smith Street, which is the barrel factory. Yeah, so.
I don't know that one.
Smith Avenue.
Is it Fowler and Keith?
Yeah.
Fowler and Keith?
Off behind Fowler Keith.
Yeah, over in that vicinity, yeah. 100 residential units, including affordable housing.
They're doing traffic and noise studies.
Yeah, traffic, a lot of traffic, visual impacts.
So it's pretty-
subdivision, landscape.
Is it right, it's along the railroad tracks?
Yes, it's right on the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Noise and vibration. Railroad tracks.
Hey, I live next to the Catskill.
Yeah, if they only
I hear the Roller Express every hour and an hour.
on the weekend only though.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
Not every
magical.
day.
Polar Express is magical.
It's not magical for you though.
We all live in the same city, which has lots of trains. Every single one of us here's every single train. Except for maybe Saturday.
So the barrel factory is quite a low-lying building. Interesting. It's only 2 stories.
Well, they
So
got.
was it part of Fowler and Keith or is it a totally different building? Has it been empty?
Yeah, it's not on the same
It's all
street.
bo- it's all
It's
boarded
on
up.
the street one over from that end that has, the Verizon trucks on it.
Oh, okay.
Not Smith, what's the,
It's on Stand Avenue.
Timber.
Timber.
And the Verizon, okay.
there's a
Uh,
huge open lot in front of it on Cornell Street. It's behind that open lot, between that big open lot and the tree truck.
so
One block away from yesterday's, or, whatever the place is called. That
Which one?
restaurant's in the corner.
It's this. And it's got white because of
Barrel
it.
Loss Project. Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
they do mention F and K in there.
Funny, because it's not even Fowler Keith anymore.
Yeah. F and K architectural set.
Alrighty.
The next steps on that include submission of additional plans and studies. And the planning board declared themselves a lead agency. So I don't know if we'll get a referral on that. I mean, we're not a board that could be a lead agency.
No, but we can ask to be interested, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
next call,
Yeah,
like we were with Kingston. What's the name of the project that's at the jail?
oh, the jail, yeah, the golden.
Golden Hour, right?
The Golden Jail. That's a great name for retirement. Truth in advertising.
Is the jail totally gone now?
I don't know, but I think so.
I think so. So that's,
All right.
that, they're gonna get more studies and they're declaring themselves lead agency and will to be continued on that one.
All right, anything else on the planning board?
No, those are the 3. I mean, there's more stuff, but most of it doesn't really apply to us. These are the big ticket items.
So, all right, any questions on anything from Kevin? Public safety, I went to the meeting and reported out and left. So I didn't even know, I don't believe there was anything about the pesticide thing, and I'm sure there wasn't on the agenda. And they are not gonna meet in December because so it's between Christmas and New Year's, because they might meet,
They didn't move it.
no, Andrea sent me an email and said that they were just gonna cancel it.
But that was on the local rules anyway.
That wasn't laws and rules, you're right, yes, no, it wasn't. Climate smart,
I think we covered the solar comments or renewable comments that Melissa had made. What sort of started that rolling was Melissa and Tom Beach presented on the Scenic Hudson mapping tool. There were 4 parts of the tool, including the smart solar planning. That might have been the document that had the zoning in it that they were referencing. Then there's a lot of technical stuff that got discussed on how to estimate, which took me a little bit of sorting out to try to interpret what they're actually saying in terms of kilowatts, megawatts, what have you. So yeah, they were discussing electric formulas basically, and there's a zoning guide included, right, which I just mentioned. Town of Cortland in Westchester recently passed a solar moratorium and created a ranked choice solar system and amended their zoning code. And that was one of the documents that Melissa was referencing to be included in the Kingston code. Now, when I looked at that, I saw that they did this as a standalone piece of legislation, not part of the zoning. So my last correspondence with Melissa was maybe that's something that Climate Smart should consider, is drafting something, let Dover Coal do what they're gonna do, and then draft something similar to what Cortland did, which will feed, it won't be part of the zoning, but it will be legislation feeding off the zoning, referencing the zoning. And I imagine they've already had their core council then, Westchester look at that to see if, it's enforceable that way. And we would probably have to do the same, but that is a possibility.
so I just want to say that just for other people, everyone out here, Scenic Hudson developed this tool that kind of shows you how to figure out your solar would be good or bad, weighing various concerns with open space and agriculture and first even just the orientation. And then Clearwater manager agreements, leading these, getting municipal officials together to look and study how to use the solar mapping tool as a group. And so, and hopefully then solar zoning and some other things will come out of that as communities kind of get into the details of this. And I'm really glad that, the city, the Climate Smart went to it, because I just was under the impression that it was much more about open space, not about rooftops and stuff, because Kingston doesn't have a huge amount of open land to,
Right. Do a huge array.
yeah, system. Anyway, and I should have said this under announcements, but the Hudson River Environmental Society is going to have a conference in April 23rd on the landscape scale effects of renewables, mostly solar, but other things. But anyway, so And there's a new professor at Cornell that he studies like the effect of solar panels and ag and
Who's putting on this April 24th?
Hudson River Environmental Society. I'm on the board there. So when we get closer to the date, it's daytime at Cary Institute. Alrighty, Ulster County Environmental Management Council. Okay, so I went to that and Ted didn't. I thought Ted was gonna attend by Zoom, but he didn't. So one of the interesting things is that we met, well, it doesn't matter where we met, but we met at the probation down the street because, and it's nicer than going to the community college. But because of the delay in the county, in all the towns okaying their appointments and then sending them on to the legislature, there is actually almost no one that is actually an appointed member of the EMC. And so they couldn't vote on anything, and it's just like, it's just like a delay, like everyone's there and they're engaged and everything, but it's just a paperwork thing. So that was kind of disappointing. And then they did have discussion about open meetings and whether or not you could vote and be considered being there if you were, if you were on Zoom. And that didn't really, nothing's happened with that. But I think because of this size of the community, people are really happy with using Zoom and not having to drive, say, from Shandaken all the way to Ulster Community College. And we can't meet at Ulster right now because there's no room. So the probation has a really nice meeting space. So that's nice. But anyway, and then we talked, then we had a speaker, we had his last name is Ermer, and he is the wildlife person. He's one of the wildlife people at DEC. And his name is not Phil, and that's why I get him confused, because one's spelled Ermer and this one is Ermer. Anyway, and he spoke about endangered species. So he spoke about bats, rattlesnakes, and eagles, pretty much critters, not plants. And anyway, so that was important, and that was informative. For us, I guess, bats are the most of concern in Kingston. And I did learn that the two endangered bats don't live in your attic. So they would not live in your attic, but
They're going to trees.
well, they overwinter in caves. Okay, yeah. And they are, anyway, so that was good. And then we had the discussion about the Ashokan releases, which we've already discussed. So, and the result of that is that they're going to, write some kind of a letter to have this whole thing be a little bit more public, or to at least advise the county on what we think should happen. What the EMC thinks should happen. And all right, and I think that was all. But I will try to let you know when I know the speakers, especially if they're in the town, in Kingston versus, but they usually have a pretty interesting speaker, and you can attend by Zoom. And it's at the beginning, and you just, leave, so. All right. Tree commission.
Discussed some specific tree removals and so forth. The grants manager, Natalie Kickle, is planning on applying for some DEC funding for disadvantaged communities. And she's asked the tree commission to be a partner. So they talked about possibilities of doing like a planting workshop or a pruning workshop, possibly in conjunction with Arbor Day. They've got something planned at the Rondout Community Center for Arbor Day. But they're thinking of some other possibilities, probably in one of the parks somewhere. The current planting grant we have, there'll be 21 trees going in this spring. The ones that were planted in the fall seem to be doing well. And they're working on updating the tree ordinance. They're close to the final draft of that.
Oh, that's good.
And they want to comment on the new zoning. Yeah. The tree ordinance seems to be their piece of
The zoning.
Yeah, they could do what Cortland did on solar, they could, yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's already separate.
Great.
And they're hoping to get 50,000 for this disadvantaged communities.
Oh, wow.
But it has to be used in certain areas, but it looked like a big chunk of Kingston was acceptable for use.
Well, that's a lot. That's at least 150 trees, right? So.
They may use some of it for removal. In some of the places, they got requests for financial help, which is acceptable for this grant. They can use, I think she said 20% for removal of trees and replacement. And it's supposed to be for particularly focused on ash tree losses and replacing them with something. No, I don't know.
That's a big deal.
Good.
All right. Is there anything else, or can we adjourn?
Wow. I'm into adjourn.
All right. 7:40.
That's eight. All right.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.